Joel Jack contract with TPHL, Trinidad Petroleum Holdings Limited, registered office number 9 Queen's Park West, Port of Spain, Trinidad, telephone 8686255240, the 21st of October 2024. Strictly private and confidential, Mr. Joel Jack number 2, Rolex Development, Mount Pleasant, Tobago. Dear Mr. Jack, appointment as a consultant specialist advisor to the Chairman and Board of Directors of TPHL, Trinidad Petroleum Holdings Limited, the company, is pleased to offer you a contract of a consultant specialist advisor on a contract basis, subject to the following terms and conditions. Consultancy services. You shall be required to work with the Chairman and Board of Directors of TPHL and other TPHL consultants to complete the following activities. 1.1. To review TPHL's operational structure and assess its suitability in relation to the organization's strategic and operational goals. This will entail reviewing the operational structure and workflows for alignment with strategic and operational goals. 1.2. To identify and evaluate potential assets for monetization as required by the board of the company for TPHL and its subsidiary companies through entail a detailed analysis of the asset base of TPHL and its subsidiaries. 1.3. To develop and implement a framework to achieve the winding up of the Petroleum Company of Trinidad and Tobago Limited. 1.4. To determine and implement a plan for the future of PeopCell as a subsidiary of Petrotrin. 1.5. To provide oversight and monitoring of Petrotrin's legacy operations. 1.6. To assess the efficiency and effectiveness of the operations of the Finance Department in relation to Petrotrin's accounts, payables, and receivables. 1.7. To review and provide advice in relation to reports, letters of communication, statements, press releases on behalf of the Chairman of TPHL to ministry officials, regulatory bodies, and other external parties as directed. 1.8. To provide advice to TPHL for the resolution of intercompany transactions, commercial negotiations, disputes, and resource allocations. 1.9. To provide advice to enable efficient delivery on key TPHL projects. 1.10. To assist the Chairman Company Secretary to complete TPHL board requirements including the board agenda, preparation of board notes and presentations, and reports for the TPHL board meetings. 1.11. To provide perspectives, insights, and advice upon request to other subsidiary or parent company board directors. 1.12. To work with the CEO, CFO of Heritage Petroleum Company to optimize and deliver the best value for the renegotiation of Heritage's loan and bond facility, as directed. 2. You shall report to the Chairman of the Board of the company. 3. Term and termination. 3.1. This contract will be effective as at the November 1st, 2024, will remain in effect for 1 year, the term, unless determined in accordance with clauses 3.3 or 3.4. 3.2. The term is capable of extension by mutual written agreement between you and the company for such period as may be agreed. In the event that the company wishes to extend this contract, the company shall at least 1 month before the expiration of the term give written notice to you of its desire to renew the terms of this contract. 3.3. Subject to clause 3.4, herein this contract may be terminated by either party providing 3 months' notice of termination in writing to the other party. 3.4. The company reserves the right to terminate the contract forthwith for misconduct by you or breach by you of the terms and conditions stipulated herein. In each case, the company's obligation will be to pay only such remuneration agreed herein as would have accrued and remains unpaid at the date of such termination. 3.5. Upon termination, the consultant specialist advisor shall cease all services and return all confidential information to the Chairman of the Board of Directors. 4. Employment and working arrangements. 4.1. You are generally required to provide services to the company for 4 business days per week at the company's offices in Trinidad on an as-needed basis. However, the company may offer the consultant flexible working arrangements, including but not limited to remote work, flexible hours, or compressed work weeks, subject to the operational requirements of the business. The company reserves the right to modify or terminate any flexible working arrangement with reasonable notice, unless such modification or termination would contravene applicable labor laws. 5. Working environment. 5.1. The company agrees to provide the consultant with a suitable and amenable working environment necessary for the execution of their duties. This includes, but is not limited to, access to an office or remote working facilities, a computer or other necessary equipment, internet and Wi-Fi connection, a telephone for work-related purposes, and consumables. The company shall also provide a travel allowance to cover work-related travel expenses, subject to prior approval and submission of appropriate documentation. All equipment and services provided remain the property of the company and must be used in accordance with the company's policies. The company agrees to maintain all equipment in good condition and to notify the employer immediately in case of any issues or damages. The company reserves the right to review and modify these provisions in line with business needs and applicable law. 6. Deliverables. 6.1. The consultant shall be responsible for the timely submission of all agreed deliverables outlined in Annex 1 of this agreement. The deliverables include, but are not limited to, reports, analyses, frameworks, and advisory services as detailed in the scope of work. 6.2. All deliverables must meet the quality standards expected by the company and should be accompanied by relevant supporting documentation as required. The consultant shall also provide regular progress reports to the company outlining work completed, potential challenges, and any adjustments to timelines or project plans. 6.3. The company reserves the right to request revisions or amendments to the deliverables where necessary to meet its goals and objectives. 7. Consultancy fees. 7.1. In consideration of performing the consultancy services, the company will pay to you a monthly retention fee of TT $70,000. You will be responsible for payment of any income tax, insurance, or other taxes or revenues arising from the performance of the consultancy services. 7.3. You will also be provided with a workspace and office consumables while in Trinidad and Tobago. 8. Capacity of consultant. 8.1. It is acknowledged that you are being retained by the company in the capacity of an independent contractor and not as an employee of the company, and you agree that this contract does not create a partnership or joint venture arrangements between yourself and the company. 8.2. It is also agreed that the terms of your appointment do not grant you the authority to enter into any commitment of any kind with third parties on behalf of the company as an agent, proxy, representative, or broker, unless with the prior written approval of the company. Any arrangements made or undertaking taken by you with any other entity without the prior written approval of the company will be your total responsibility, and any costs related thereto will be borne by you. 9. Reporting structure. 9.1. You will report directly to the chairman of the board of the company. Regular reporting will be required, including through quarterly progress reports that outline milestones achieved in key areas such as the operational structure and asset monetization. Additionally, ad hoc reports will be submitted upon request by the board, particularly to support strategic decisions. 10. Confidentiality. 10.1. The consultant specialist advisor hereby agrees to maintain the strict confidentiality of all sensitive and confidential information obtained in connection with their services and shall not, under any circumstances, disclose such information to any third party without the prior express written consent of the chairman of the board of directors. 10.2. Confidential information shall mean any and all data, documents, knowledge, materials, or information, whether written, oral, electronic, or in any other form, that is disclosed to or otherwise obtained by the receiving party in the course of its engagement, which is designated as confidential, proprietary, or which by its nature should reasonably be understood to be confidential. This includes, but is not limited to, business plans, financial information, trade secrets, intellectual property, client or customer lists, marketing strategies, operational procedures, and any other information that is not publicly available and is disclosed in confidence by the disclosing party. 11. Indemnification. 11.1. The company agrees to indemnify, defend, and hold harmless the consultant specialist advisor from and against any and all claims, liabilities, damages, losses, costs, expenses, including reasonable attorney's fees and court costs, judgments or settlements arising out of or in connection with any third-party claims, demands, or actions, to the extent caused by the company's negligence, willful misconduct, or breach of any representations, warranties, or obligations under this agreement. This indemnification obligation shall survive the termination or expiration of this agreement. 12. Amendments and entire agreement. This contract can only be modified with the mutual agreement of both parties in writing and constitutes the entire agreement and understanding between the parties and supersedes any and all prior agreements, arrangements, and understandings relating to the subject matter thereof. 13. Governing law. This contract is governed by the laws of Trinidad and Tobago. If you agree to our offer on the above-mentioned terms and conditions, please signify your acceptance by signing and returning the attached duplicate of this letter to the chairman of the company at your earliest convenience. Yours faithfully, Trinidad Petroleum Holdings Limited. Mr. Michael A. Kwamina, Chairman. I, Joel Jack, have read the foregoing letter and accept the offer on the terms set out herein. I agree to be bound by these terms in all respects. Signature Joel Jack. Date the 30th of October 2024. Witness _____________. Date _________________. Directors Michael A. Kwamina, SC Chairman, Reynold Ajodasing, Deputy Chairman, Vincent Bartholomew, Everard Bennett, Avi Chuddy, Marlon George, Newman K. George, Selwyn Lashley, Eustace Nancis,